You know, I've been living in Ireland for the past 2 years because of Mango Mussolini. I read that Project 2025 and said, gotta get myself out of here, you know? And I decided to go to Ireland, a place where people are driven to drink regardless of who's running their country. I decided to move, and I took my little then 11-year-old kid.
The FCC is about to crack down on The View.
I wasn't surprised that Ted Cruz and Rand Paul took the position they did, because this has been a long-standing, not just American position, but conservative position, that the First Amendment and the right to free speech is fundamental in this country. And that means speech you find offensive, it means political satire, it means comedy, it means holding those in power accountable. And I think a lot of people, when they think of conservatives, they think you wake up, you kiss a picture of Donald Trump, and you want tax cuts for the wealthy. What made me a conservative was the idea that in all the systems of government that have existed in human history, as imperfect as ours is, the Constitution gets it pretty damn right. Sure, yes. The First Amendment is the first for a reason, because you need to be able to hold those in power accountable. And what Ted Cruz later says in an interview that I think is an incredibly important point: the pendulum swings in this country. Yeah. Donald Trump is not going to be in power for 100 years. It may feel that way to a lot of people right now. There will be a time that the left is back in power. And I think the same conservatives who are backing this position, this crackdown on free speech, do not want a left-wing president policing what can be said on TV, how you can criticize your government. So think, if it's not about anything specific someone said, think about the precedent it sets down the road.
I'll report directly to the president. So that's something that's significant that we're going to see happening.
What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this.
Yeah, something happened today. I don't know if you've seen it. Democrats are freaking out and some are celebrating. If you take a look at the Disney ABC on Tuesday sued the Federal Communication Commission, accusing the Trump administration of a retaliatory campaign to silence the network, left the show as the battle over its broadcast license hit up. The lawsuit, which was filed on Washington, D.C. federal court, seeks a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunctions on the FCC review of 8 of Disney licenses, including ABC channels in New York, LA, and Chicago, as well as a DC Circuit Court hearing. Okay, if you take a look at this, it's very simple. A show like The View, they should be able to have people from both sides.
FCC is about to crack down on The View. Finally. So they are saying that, hey, we need equal reporting time for both sides. And you guys are not a bona fide news program. So we need you to shape up and show other viewpoints. Whoa, what a concept. Something being called The View and actually looking at other viewpoints. How about not just bullying people just because you don't agree with them? And a lot of it is the bullying of conservatives and Republicans, or the bullying of Christians, all of that. So thank God we can actually see something now that maybe is sort of kind of fair, because when I look at it, all I see is a whole bunch of hypocrites that tell you that you should be afraid of this nation, that you should hate America and anything that doesn't just allow a whole bunch of tomfoolery and everybody being whatever they want to be, acting like cats and all of that. I'm sorry, that's so... But anyways, I will keep you guys updated on this. This is great news. They didn't say anything about a cancellation. That's what I was hoping for. But we're finally getting some traction of it actually being a show that can have healthy debates. What a concept.
And breaking news.
Breaking news just this morning, Disney is filing a lawsuit against the FCC today.
Read the lawsuit that was filed this morning in D.C. District Court. It opens with some strong words. It says, quote, "Government censorship is deeply un-American. And that's what Disney is alleging here, that the Trump administration is using the tools at its disposal to pressure ABC to change its content, whether that's late at night on Jimmy Kimmel's anti-Trump late night show, or whether it's during the day on the hit daytime talk show The View, or whether it's on other ABC programs. The network says it is feeling pressure from the administration and that amounts to a violation of the First Amendment. Not just because of President Trump's words, where he often maligns ABC and degrades the coverage and calls for its licenses to be revoked, but especially and more importantly through the government's actions. Earlier this year, the FCC opened a probe of The View over an alleged equal time violation. And then a couple months later, the FCC called up ABC's station licenses.
When I see a lot of people, not agreeing with this, it gets me angry. I understand Democrats will always view this differently, but when you look at it carefully, you realize that, to me, this is actually okay. Yeah, I should be able to watch The View, see consecutive showing up, Democrats showing up, see balanced views on issues. That's how a show is supposed to be. But if you check, throughout the year, they might have 2 guests from the other side, 15 from the Democrat Party. It is like they are just doing the show to propagate their messaging, which to me, it is not okay.
I mean, have you watched the show over the last 29 seasons? So no one silences us. And to all my friends in Italy who reached out, you have to know it's okay. We're still here. We're still broadcasting. Let's keep in mind that fundamentally all of these things are in our hands.
Yes.
We make these decisions. And listen, we can sit here. We talked about it last week. We talked about it the week before. We talk about freedom of speech a lot because we are always in somebody's mess because somebody's decided that we have said something that's offensive. But we fight for everybody's right to have freedom of speech because it means my speech is free, it means your speech is free.
CNN Brian Seda posted this on X. The FC lone Democrat credit Disney for courage in suing AFC. For months, the AFC has waged a campaign of this and control against Disney ABC stations using the threat of broadcast license revocation to punish a company for speech this administration doesn't like. I have been called on companies to push back against this kind of government intimidations, and I'm glad Disney has shown courage and step up. This should be a welcome sign for every broadcaster who has felt the weight of outreaching government pressure in silence. I'm hopeful that this will make the beginning of the end of this administration disregard for the Constitution and the law. This is a Democrat. He's in support of what ABC is doing. I understand what ABC is doing throughout is in support of them. So obviously he will come out in support of what they just did. He has been encouraging others to continue to sue the administration. So you need to understand to say, they're trying to not allow people to talk. Like in the case of what Jimmy did that time, the Trump administration called that they should cut him off, things like that. Course of this Jimmy show, this is exactly if you like to lose viewership, you will bring in someone like this. As of the short clips you see at the end, that's for the white algorithm. You can always skip.
Always celebrating. Be happy that the crazy lady.
Thing is, can you?
Quick question: if you're here tonight,
whatever it is
I bring it up because it sounds.
Explain what happened so people know.
they were releasing how much 40 years old that the sun and the moon were not the same thing.
Wants to know the strangest part of going.
Yeah.
That's
so.
Wow. Dust Blossom turned into this fabulous actress.
Sunny from The View. I am so sick of you and Whoopi.
Don't do it. Yeah. We will be okay if you.
Diversity for diversity's sake being crammed down our throats.
The Hunger Games.
Loves to work. It's, I had a group of guys,
is cool.
And of that, you.
All eyes on California
people.
And so this is my
antenna was.
August $4.
Sometimes when I see political news like this, I don't always like to report because a lot of people don't usually like to watch anything relating to the view, but to me, I see this to be important. We should be able to have balanced views. Like, I should see something like this, I should call it out. That's very important, right?